You ever get that feeling where one tiny thing just flips your whole world upside down? Yeah, for me it was a motorcycle. My pride and joy, this old Triumph I'd spent years restoring. I swear I thought moving into a new place with my fiancée, April, was gonna be a fresh start. Instead, I landed smack in the middle of an HOA drama, straight out of a reality show, and suddenly I was public enemy number one for a bunch of folks who didn't even know my name, especially the HOA president, Beverly Monroe, who could ruin your week with a single look. You know what I mean. So we'd finally saved up enough for a condo in this supposedly beautiful Rosewood Creek community. Me, I was trying to play by the book. Read all 67 pages of the HOA covenant. Kept the Triumph in the garage, didn't start it early or late. Wiped up every drop of oil like I was in the Marines. We were just settling in, getting to know neighbors, and dreaming about actually relaxing for once. Then, bam there. It was a letter in the mailbox, official HOA seal, noise-producing vehicle. Violation, remove your motorcycle, or pay $100 a day. I'm standing there with the letter, like someone just told me my dog got loose, and April's reading over my shoulder mad as hell, because she knows I baby that bike more than I baby myself. Yeah, that happened. So I call up the HOA office thinking maybe this is just a mistake. Right, wrong. Beverly herself picks up the phone, icy as a New England winter. She says, "Mr. Harmon." The community standards are clear. Motorcycles just don't fit the image. I try to explain, but she's not listening. It's like arguing with a wall in a pantsuit. April tries to talk me down, says, maybe it's not worth making enemies, but it's not about the bike anymore. It's about not letting someone walk all over you for fun. Just when I'm ready to give up, in comes Edna from 2 doors down, looking like your sweet grandma, but sharp as a tack. Heard you got a love letter from Beverly. She grins. Turns out she used to be a real estate attorney and tells me there's this little-known clause about exemptions. If you can prove you're not causing any trouble, get enough neighbors on your side, you got a shot. I mean, who knew? Right. So next thing you know, me and April are out there knocking on doors, asking for signatures, telling folks our story. Some neighbors like the Garcias sign right away. Apparently Beverly dinged them for Christmas lights last winter. Others, like Mark, hesitate, worried about rocking the boat with their own projects. But the more doors we knock, the more stories come out. Garden gnomes, bird feeders, you name it. Feels like everyone's living in fear of Beverly's next friendly reminder. Here's where it gets wild. April suggests a backyard barbecue, just neighbors and burgers. No HOA talk. It works. People loosen up. Swap stories, start realizing maybe we're not so different. We get the signatures we need, plus a few extras for good measure. But of course, nothing's ever that easy, Ron. From the board tips me off that Beverly's trying to call an emergency meeting to change the rules before I can file my exemption. We scramble that night, pulling together our packet. Signatures, photos, noise measurements, even a video of me starting the Triumph with the garage closed, so it barely makes a peep. I march down to the HOA office first thing. Make sure they timestamp my packet, and Beverly actually tries to stop me in the parking lot. Your paperwork's out of date. Sam, you'll need to refile once the new protocols are approved. I keep my cool, tell her. As long as my packet's received before the change, the old rules apply. She doesn't like that one bit, but Beverly's not done. She sends a notice saying my fines start tomorrow, exemption or not. April says maybe we should just move the bike, but my gut says if we back down now, we'll never get a fair shake. That night, while I'm photographing the bike to maybe list it for sale, Edna shows up with a highlighted copy of the bylaws. Turns out the board has to review exemptions within 7 days. Now we're talking. The hearing night rolls around, and let me tell you, I've never seen the community room so packed. People are buzzing, Beverly's sweating, and the board looks like they'd rather be anywhere else. Beverly gets up and paints a picture of me as some kind of rebel biker, says if they make an exception for me, there'll be chaos. I lay out my case signatures, noise data, even a neighbor saying her blender's louder than my Triumph. Beverly drops a folder of last-minute evidence, including anonymous complaints, but Ron steps in and says, "Didn't Beverly herself get an exemption for her oversized shed last year?" The room goes dead silent, then Edna stands up and says, "I live 2 doors down. Never heard a thing from Sam's garage." People laugh, tension breaks, and the board votes. 2 for 2 against Ron gets the tiebreaker. With all these neighbors supporting Sam and no actual complaints, I say we grant the exemption. The place erupts in applause, and Beverly looks like she's chewing lemons. A few days later, I get the official letter. My Triumph can stay as long as it's garaged and quiet. Honestly, it's exactly what I was already doing. Suddenly, neighbors who'd barely said hello are dropping by, sharing their own HOA headaches. And for once, the community feels, well, like a real community. Beverly skips the next meeting, and folks start showing up in record numbers, actually talking about ways to make things better. For a while, it almost feels like we broke the spell. But let me back up a sec, because here's the twist. Nobody saw coming. Even after all that, me and April start to feel like no matter what, someone's always watching, always waiting to pounce. We start dreaming about a place where we don't have to ask permission to hang Christmas lights or park our own bike. 6 months later, we're gone. Bought a house outside the HOA zone. No more forms, no more Beverly. On moving day, Edna gives me a keychain that says, "Sometimes fighting for what's right matters more than winning." I look at April, look at the Triumph, and for the first time in a long time, I breathe easy. So what do you think? Was I stubborn for fighting? Or was it the right call? Have you ever had to stand up to an HOA or someone in power just because you wanted to live your life? Drop your stories and thoughts down in the comments. I really want to hear if you'd go to war over a motorcycle, or if you'd just let it slide. 'Cause after all this, the one thing I know for sure is rules are supposed to serve the people, not the other way around.